Hello students, welcome back to the discussion over the chapter laws of motion, under which we are going to say about friction. And in this session, I'm going to discuss the kinetic friction and rolling friction, relation between the different types of friction, and about acceleration of the body when a frictional force is going to act, or the kinetic frictional force is going to act over that body. To start with the discussion now over the kinetic friction. What is this kinetic friction? How it is defined? In the last session, while saying about static friction, the body is not going to move when it is placed over the surface. When we are going to apply a certain less amount of the force, it is lesser than the limiting of friction. And once we are going to apply that maximum force of static friction, the body starts to move. And then afterwards, we can move that body with a constant speed or with a constant velocity. And while moving, once again, there will be some contact between the body and the surface. And hence, there is some frictional force is going to arise. And hence, we are going to define the kinetic friction. That is when it is in the state of the motion, when the object is in the state of the motion. If it is, the body is in the state of the rest, even though you are going to apply the force, there is no movement we are going to observe there, and hence you are going to say it is a static friction. If it is, the body is in the moving state due to the application of some force, due to the contact which is present, there is some force is going to act, frictional force is going to act, and hence we are going to say there is a kinetic friction. What is this kinetic friction? The friction that exists when a body slides over a surface. There is an object is placed over the body or over some surface, and we are going to apply the force so that it is more than a limiting frictional force, and hence that body is sliding or it is moving over that surface, and hence there is some friction is going to present, and that friction is nothing but the kinetic friction. And hence we are going to define the friction that exists when a body slides over a surface, which is known as the kinetic friction. We can see here in this diagram, the ball starts to move due to the application of the force. It is not going to roll over the surface, just that ball is going to slide over the table. Ball ಅನ್ನೋದು slide ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, slide ಬೇರೆ, rolling ಬೇರೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿರುತ್ತೆ. That body just slides over the surface, and hence we are going to say there is some frictional force is going to arise. That frictional force is nothing but the kinetic friction. And in this diagram, we can also say the frictional force that is going to act here. That is, this surface or this food which is present there is in contact with the surface, with the inclined plane here. As this person is going to push that object or that body, at that time what I say, there is some frictional force that is going to arise, and that friction is nothing but the kinetic friction. This is how can I say about this kinetic friction. It is whenever the body slides over the other surface, at the time there is some frictional force is going to present there, and that frictional force is nothing but the kinetic friction. And as we are defining the quantity which is known as the static friction, we can define a quantity which is known as coefficient of kinetic friction. What is this coefficient of kinetic friction? The coefficient of kinetic friction is the ratio of the kinetic frictional force to the normal reaction. It is the ratio of the kinetic friction to the normal reaction, which is known as the coefficient of kinetic friction. Static friction ಹೇಳುವಾಗ coefficient of static friction ಹೇಳುವಾಗ ಏನು ಹೇಳ್ತೇವೆ? It is the ratio of the limiting frictional force or the static friction to the normal reaction. Here we are going to say it is the ratio of the kinetic friction or kinetic frictional force to the normal reaction. And hence we can say about a coefficient of kinetic friction like this way: mu k is equal to Fk divided by m. Fk and then kinetic friction or kinetic frictional force. N means it is normal reaction, and hence coefficient of friction or the coefficient of kinetic friction is Fk divided by n. And hence we can say the kinetic frictional force Fk is equal to E and the term LHS mu k into n, and Fk here is mu k into n, where here n is the normal reaction. This is how to define the coefficient of kinetic friction, and hence we can say the equation for the kinetic frictional force. And now we are going to see about an equation for the acceleration of the object when there is kinetic frictional force is going to act. Let's consider there is a surface over which a body of mass m is present. So that there is some external force is going to act over the body to displace that body or to push that body. F is a force, external force which is acting. And as we are going to explain, initially the object is not in the state of the motion, and hence there is some kinetic frictional force is present there. As we are going to increase this force, that body start to slide or start to move over the surface. And hence we are going to say there is some frictional force is going to act between the two surfaces there, which is nothing but the kinetic friction. And this kinetic friction also going to act in the opposite direction to the external force. As we are going to say, static friction is going to act in the opposite direction to the external force. The kinetic friction also going to act in the opposite direction. So that what happens here, due to the applied force F, if it is, you are going to imagine there is no kinetic friction is going to act there, and hence what happens there, there is a acceleration or there is an acceleration is going to produce in a body with the help of Newton's law of motion, second law of motion. We are going to see the equation for the force which is acting here, that is the force F is equal to mass into acceleration. That is with the help of Newton's second law of motion. But here what happens is, as that body slides, there is a kinetic friction is going to act, and hence the net force which is acting, resultant force which is acting over the body is not only equal to F here. The two forces are acting in the opposite direction. That is why we can say the net force which is acting, F dash, let us say, which one is equal to the external force F minus Fk. Why it is F minus Fk? Since the two forces are acting in the opposite direction. When the two vectors are acting in the opposite direction, then the resultant is given by the formula R is equals to A minus B. And hence we can say resultant force F dash is equal to F minus Fk. We are going to consider here that external force which is acting, F is greater than Fk. F is greater than Fk. And hence we can say the acceleration which is produced in this body, if it is equals to A, then this resultant force F dash is equal to mass of the body into its acceleration. Mass into acceleration. And hence we are going to say about the acceleration of the body. What is the acceleration of the body? Acceleration A is equals to F minus Fk divided by m. Why it is? Since the acceleration A here is equal to F dash divided by the mass M, where F dash, what is the F dash value? F dash is equals to F minus Fk, and hence it is now acceleration A is equals to F minus Fk divided by the mass of the object. This is how to say about the acceleration of the body when the kinetic frictional force is going to act. In the absence of this kinetic friction, we are getting the normal equation A is equals to F divided by M. Now we can see the different cases in which we are going to see the first case. If it is, we are going to imagine the acceleration of the body is equal to 0. Acceleration of the body is equal to 0. There is no acceleration is produced, or we can say the body is moving with the uniform speed, or it is moving with the uniform velocity. At the time, what happens there? As the acceleration of the body is equal to 0, we can say from the equation, the acceleration A is equal to 0, that is equals to F minus Fk divided by M, or we can say M ಅನ್ನು ನಾನು ನ್ಯೂಮರೇಟರ್ ತಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗ್ತೇನೆ ಅಥವಾ LHS ತಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗ್ತೇನೆ M into 0, and hence we can say 0 is equal to F minus Fk, or we can say the force F, external force which is acting on the body, is equal to the kinetic frictional force. And hence we can say if it is the external force which is acting on the body is equal to the kinetic friction, then the body is going to move with the uniform velocity. There is no changes in the velocity we are going to observe in that body when we are going to say the kinetic friction is equal to the force, external force which is acting. The next case in which we are going to see the acceleration of the body is not equal to 0, such a way that the force which is acting on the body, external force, is greater than the kinetic frictional force. It is greater than the kinetic friction. As that value of F is greater than Fa, we can say the acceleration of the body. What is the acceleration of the body now? The acceleration of the body is a positive one. It is a positive, and hence we are going to say the body accelerates positively, or the body is going to possess the positive acceleration, we can say, when F is greater than Fk. And if it is, you are going to say the value of this external force is lesser than Fk, kinetic friction. The other case in which you are going to see the value of F is lesser than Fk. What happens here? If it is F is lesser than Fk, means you are going to get a negative sign over here, and hence we are going to see the value of that acceleration A is a negative value, and hence we can say the body is moving with the retardation, or it is moving with the negative acceleration, or its velocity is decreasing. In the second case, we are going to say the velocity of the body is going to increase. Okay, ನಮಗೆ positive acceleration ಸಿಗ್ತಾ ಉಂಟು. For that reason, that increasing. Whereas in this case, what happens there? Velocity of the body going to decrease. That is why we are getting a negative acceleration here, or we are going to say the body is moving with the retardation. These are the different case what we can say when we are going to say the acceleration equation as A is equal to F minus Fk divided by M. That is about the kinetic of friction. And now we are going to see about some laws here that are known as laws of friction. As we are going to see the different laws, Newton's law, gravitational law, they are the universal laws. But these laws are not a universal one. It can change with the surfaces, what we are going to observe them. But normally these laws holds good, that is in the different, that is in the paths of bodies which are moving. The first law is given like this way: both the static frictional force and kinetic frictional force are directly proportional to the normal reaction. For a given pair of body, coefficient of friction remains the same or it is a constant value. For that reason, we are going to say static frictional force and kinetic frictional forces are directly proportional to the normal reaction. In the previous discussion, we got equations there. That is for static frictional force or maximum static frictional force. That one is equal to mu s into n, where n is the normal reaction. Same way, the value of Fk, kinetic frictional force, is equal to mu k into n. Both mu s and mu k here are constant for a given pair of body, and hence you are going to say the value of Fs is the maximum static frictional force is directly proportional to the normal reaction, and also Fk, that is the kinetic frictional force, is directly proportional to the normal reaction. Both static frictional force and kinetic frictional force are directly proportional to the normal reaction. That is the first law. The second law is given like this way: both static frictional force and kinetic frictional force are independent of area of contact. That is the two surfaces which are in contact there. That means we are going to say there is some area over which we are going to observe there is some contact. ಕಾಂಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ ಇರುವಂತ ಒಂದು ಏರಿಯಾ ಅನ್ನು ನಾವು ಕಾಮನ್ ಆಗಿ ನೋಡಬಹುದು. And here we are going to say with the help of that area what we are going to say, and it is compared with that static frictional force and kinetic frictional force, and hence we are going to get the result like this way, that both the static frictional force and kinetic frictional force are independent of the area of contact. ಆ ಏರಿಯಾ ಮೇಲೆ ಅಥವಾ ಕಾಮನ್ ಏರಿಯಾ ಏನು ನಮಗೆ ಸಿಗ್ತದೆ ಬಾಡಿಯ ಮೇಲೆ, over that one or on that one, this static frictional and kinetic frictional force is not going to depend. It is the second law. The next law is regarding kinetic frictional force. The kinetic frictional force is independent of the velocity of the body. Kinetic frictional force is independent of velocity of the body. Already we got the equation. Fk is equal to mu k into n. N is the normal reaction. The normal reaction that equalizes the weight of the body, and hence you are going to say that normal reaction is equal to the weight of the body, which one is equal to mg, mass of the body, that remains same or not going to change. E, anyway, it is acceleration due to gravity, and hence we can say Fk is equal to formula Fk is equal to mu k into mass into acceleration due to gravity. This is a formula what we are going to see here, that is independent of the velocity with which it is moving. ಯಾವುದೇ ಒಂದು velocity move ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇರಲಿ, that kinetic frictional force just going to depend on the property of the pair of body and mass of that body, which is going to slide there. And hence you are going to say that kinetic friction is independent of the velocity, not going to depend on the velocity of the body. These are the three laws of friction. What are the three laws of friction? Both the static frictional force and kinetic frictional force are directly proportional to the normal reaction. Both the static frictional force and kinetic frictional force are independent of the area of contact, and kinetic frictional force is independent of the velocity of the body. The next discussion here, that is another kind of friction. Normally we are going to see that is about rolling friction. What is this rolling friction? When an object sphere ಆಗಿರಬಹುದು that rolls over the other surface, that moves over the other surface. Such a way that we are going to observe there is a rolling motion. There is no sliding motion, but here we are going to say there is a rolling motion of an object over the surface, and hence you are going to say there is some contact is present, and hence there is some friction is present, and that friction is nothing but the rolling friction. And hence you are going to define the rolling friction like this way: the friction that exists when a object or when a body rolls over a surface. ಯಾವಾಗ ಒಂದು ಬಾಡಿ ಅನ್ನುವಂಥದ್ದು ಮತ್ತೊಂದು ಬಾಡಿಯ ಮೇಲೆ ರೋಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಮೂವ್ ಆಗ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಉಂಟು ಆವಾಗ there is a friction that arises, and that friction is known as a rolling friction. Here we can see some examples in which we can observe there is a rolling motion. I think ಇಂಥ ಒಂದು ಸೆಟಪ್ ಅನ್ನು ನೀವು ಮುಂದೆ ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಟಿಕಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡ್ತೀರಾ. And here we are going to say there is a roller, ಸಣ್ಣ ಒಂದು ರೋಲರ್ ಉಂಟು. And as you are going to apply or as you are going to place a certain amount of mass here, mass standard mass ಇದ್ದಾಗ, at that time what happens, a thread is connected is to this roller and this span. As you are going to place some mass or the standard weights, at that time what happens there, this slider or this roller start to move here. Such a way that it moves. How it is going to move there? It is going to roll over the inclined plane. Inclined plane ಮೇಲೆ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, roll ಆಗ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ start ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. This kind of motion you are going to say rolling motion, and that force which is going to exist on friction that exists here, that is known as a rolling friction. And also we can see that is in the another example, there is an inclined plane, and over the surface we are going to place that is at the top of this inclined plane we are going to place a spherical object ಅಥವಾ ರಿಂಗ್ ಅನ್ನು ಇಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೇವೆ. And as it is just left ಆ ಜಾಗಕ್ಕೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಕೈಯನ್ನ, so that what happens there, that object start to roll over this surface. roll ಹಾಕೊಂಡು ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, it moves to the bottom of this inclined plane there, where you are going to observe this type of motion, that is in the ball bearings. Now here there are number of ball bearings, and what happens here, they are going to turn over the region as that outer ring and the inner ring. Inner ring normally is going to be fixed there, and outer ring as it is going to move there, or as it is going to rotate about the axis. At the time what was it, is position or this small balls or the spherical objects, what we are going to say, they are known as a ball bearings, and those ball bearings start to grow over the surface. I think ನೀವು ಸೈಕಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇಂಥ ಒಂದು ball bearings ಅನ್ನ ನೋಡಿರಬಹುದು, that is normally used for smooth turning of for the smooth movement of the wheels. Is in the most of the wheels we are going to observe this kind of bearings there. The mechanics normally we are going to use. This is about the rolling of friction. The next thing when we are going to see about the comparison of these different kinds of friction. That is we are going to see there is a static friction, and hence you are going to see limiting of static friction, which is denoted as Fs max, or just we are going to say it is Fs. And also we are going to say there is a friction due to the sliding movement, which is known as kinetic friction. And also we are going to say there is a rolling friction as that object is going to roll over the surface. That is rolling friction. Let us say. And when you are going to compare these values, the value of Fs is greater than Fk, and when you are going to compare the value of Fk and Fr, such a way that Fk is more than Fr. It means for a given pair of body, The static friction is more than the kinetic friction and is greater than the rolling friction, or you can say the rolling friction is a lesser value. And also we can say about a motion which is known as the impending motion. Impending motion. What is this impending motion? Where we are going to observe this kind of motion, the impending motion. Let's consider there is a surface onto, and over this surface there is an object is placed. ಮೇಲೆ ಒಂದು object ಅನ್ನು ಇಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೇನೆ. Going to place an object over this surface. As you know, the object is in the state of the rest. With the help of or according to Newton's law, unless there is an external agency or unless there is an external force going to act over the body is going to be in the state of the rest, either in the state of the rest or it is in the state of the uniform motion. It is Newton's first law of motion. Now, if it is, we are going to imagine there is an external force is going to act. There is an external force is going to act. Let's say F is the external force is going to act. As this external force is going to act, at the time what happens there, according to Newton's law of motion, we are going to say there is some acceleration is produced or there is some movement is produced in this object. But what happens here, due to the static frictional force, what happens there, the object is not in the state of the motion. And hence you are going to say, in between this contact, there is some force that is going to act there, that is nothing but the static frictional force. There is a frictional force that is going to act here, that is nothing but the static frictional force, Fs. Now, if it is, we are going to imagine, this static frictional force is equal to 0. There is no static frictional force is going to act. At the time what we can see, due to this applied force, the body start to move and hence the velocity of the body is not equal to 0. The body is not in the state of the rest now. And that type of motion, when we are going to imagine is motion of the object that is known as impending. Motion, it is known as impending motion. Impending motion. Now, if it is, you are going to consider this static frictional force is not present. Due to this applied force, what happens here? That body start to move. And hence this body is going to possess the motion which is known as an impending motion. And hence we can define this static frictional force like this way also. The frictional force which is going to avoid or which is going to restrict the impending motion of the object, which is known as the static frictional force, or it is known as a static friction. This is another way of defining the static friction. What is the impending motion? The impending motion is the motion of the object due to the help of some external force in the absence of the static friction. And hence we can define the static friction like this way. It is the frictional force which is going to act between the two surfaces which avoids the impending motion of the object. This is about the different kinds of the friction. Now we are going to see about the advantages of the friction. What are the advantages? In advantage into the use of friction in the number of uses are there. Only some of them are listed here. The first one, the friction helps us to walk. ನಮಗೆ ನಡಿಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಸಹಾಯ ಮಾಡ್ತದೆ ಈ ಫ್ರಿಕ್ಷನ್ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಆಗಿದ್ರೆ ಬಿಟ್ವೀನ್ ದ ಫುಟ್ ಅಂಡ್ floor. At that time what happens is we are not, it is difficult to walk over the surface. ಐಸಿನ ಮೇಲೆ ನಿಮಗೆ ನಡಿಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಕಷ್ಟ ಆಗತ್ತೆ. ಯಾಕೆ ಸರ್ಫೇಸ್ ಅನ್ನುವಂಥದ್ದು ಸ್ಮೂತ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ and the friction force that is going to be lesser than, due to that reason we are going to say it is difficult to walk over the surface. And due to that friction we can walk normally over the surface. The next one, that is friction help us to drive vehicles. Vehicle ಅನ್ನ drive ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ನಮಗೆ ಯೂಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಥವಾ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ. Other one is friction help us to stop vehicles. Vehicle ಅನ್ನು ಸ್ಟಾಪ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಿದ್ರೆ ಟೈರ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ತುಂಬಾ ಸ್ಮೂತ್ ಆಗಿದ್ರೆ ಬ್ರೇಕ್ ಹಾಕಿದ್ರು ಕೂಡ ಅದು ಬ್ರೇಕ್ ವರ್ಕ್ ಆಗುದಿಲ್ಲ. ಯಾಕಾಗಿ the surface is not rough there, so that friction is going to be lesser. So that what happens here, it is difficult to stop that vehicle. There must be some friction between the tires and the road surface, then only we can stop properly, and hence the friction helps us to stop the vehicles. The next one, friction helps us to ride. ನಮಗೆ ಬರಿಬೇಕಿದ್ರು ಕೂಡ friction ಇದ್ರೆ ಮಾತ್ರ in between that pen and the surface over which we are going to ride, so that only we can ride properly. ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಆಗಿದ್ರೆ ಬರೋದಿಲ್ಲ. If it is you are going to try to ride over the paper which is oily, oil ಇರುವಂತ ಒಂದು ಸರ್ಫೇಸ್ ಮೇಲೆ ನಿಮಗೆ ಬರಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗುದಿಲ್ಲ. ಯಾಕಾಗಿ since the friction is going to be lesser than, so that friction helps us to ride. These are some of the advantages. ಇದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ತುಂಬಾ ಅಡ್ವಾಂಟೇಜಸ್ ಉಂಟು. ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಅಡ್ವಾಂಟೇಜಸ್ ಮಾತ್ರ ನಾವಿಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೇವೆ. As it is going to have some advantages, due to this friction there are some disadvantages also. What are these disadvantages? The first one, disadvantages of the friction, there is some loss of energy. To avoid this static frictional force or to overcome this kinetic frictional force, we have to do some work, extra work ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗತ್ತೆ. So that we are going to lose some amount of the energy, and hence you are going to say due to this friction there is some loss of the energy. The second one, there is a wear and tear of machine parts that is going to increase as the two surfaces that are going to rub over the surface. ರಬ್ ಆದಾಗ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಆ ಮಿಷಿನ್ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನುವಂಥದ್ದು ಕೂಡ ಸವೇಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. That is, we are going to say wear and tear of the friction or wear and tear of the machine parts that is going to occur due to this friction. And also this produces heat in the machine parts. ಆವಾಗ ಫ್ರಿಕ್ಷನ್ ಇಂದಾಗಿ ವೇರ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಟೇರ್ ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಆಗ್ತದೆ. ಅದೇ ಹೊತ್ತಲ್ಲಿ ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಎನರ್ಜಿ, ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಪಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಎನರ್ಜಿ ಅನ್ನುವಂಥದ್ದು ನಾವು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಾ ಎನರ್ಜಿ ಸ್ಪೆಂಡ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗತ್ತೆ. ಅಂಡ್ ದಟ್ ಎನರ್ಜಿ ಈಸ್ ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಬಿ ಕನ್ವರ್ಟೆಡ್ ಇಂಟು ಎ heat energy that is in the machine parts. These are some of the advantages, disadvantages. And to avoid these disadvantages, only we can have some advantages of this friction. Energy loss ಅನ್ನು ಕಡಿಮೆ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ವೇರ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಟೇರ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಮಿಷಿನ್ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನು ಕಡಿಮೆ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಆ ಹೀಟ್ ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಆಗುವಂತದನ್ನು ಕೂಡ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. So that we can have some methods, that is to reduce the friction. ಆ ಫ್ರಿಕ್ಷನ್ ನಾವು ಕಡಿಮೆ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಫ್ರಿಕ್ಷನ್ ಬೇಕಾಗತ್ತೆ, ಆದ್ರೆ ಆ ಲಾಸ್ ಆಗುವಂತ ಎನರ್ಜಿಯನ್ನ, ಹೀಟ್ ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಆಗುವಂತದನ್ನು ಕಡಿಮೆ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗತ್ತೆ. ಇಂಥ ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಕ್ರಮವನ್ನು ನಾವು ತಗೊಳ್ಳಿಕ್ಕೆ, that means to avoid the disadvantage of this friction, we are going to have some methods. What are these methods? The first one, that is using lubricants. ಆ ಮಿಷಿನ್ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ಸ್ ನಾವೇನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೇವೆ, ಆಯಿಲ್ ಅನ್ನು ಹಾಕ್ತೇವೆ, or we are going to use the lubricants that is in these machine parts, so that what happens that will move those machine parts smoothly, so that friction is going to become lesser. Friction irutte, ಆದ್ರೆ ಆ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ as we are going to use these lubricants. The next another use here, that is use of ball bearings. Ball bearings ಬಗ್ಗೆ already ನಾವು ಹೇಳಿದ್ದೇವೆ. As you are going to use this ball bearings in the machine parts, less amount of area that is going to be in contact with the surfaces there, and hence we are going to say as that rolling friction is going to be lesser, and hence we are going to say the ball bearings will avoid the frictional loss. The other use here or another method here, that is by smoothing the surface. ಆ ಸರ್ಫೇಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ನಾವು ಸ್ಮೂತ್ ಮಾಡುವಾಗ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ನೀವು ಪಾಲಿಶ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಅವಾಗ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಆ ಸರ್ಫೇಸ್ ಅನ್ನುವಂಥದ್ದು ಸ್ಮೂತ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, so that we can avoid the friction here. These are some methods by which we can reduce the friction. Friction ನಮಗೆ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗ್ತದೆ ಇಂಥ ಮೆಥಡ್ ಇಂದಾಗಿ. This is about how we are going to use these frictions, that is for our benefits, and what are the disadvantages, and how we can avoid the frictional loss. The next discussion here, that is on the force, which is known as the centripetal force. What is this centripetal force? How it is defined? The centripetal force is the force that acts along the radius of the circular part, and it is towards the center when a body is having uniform circular motion. The force which acts on a body, it is moving in the uniform circular motion, and it acts along the radius. As already we have defined centripetal acceleration, the acceleration of the object moving in a uniform circular motion, that is towards the center, which is known as a centripetal acceleration. Due to this centripetal acceleration, there is some force that is going to act there, and that force is nothing but the centripetal force. And hence we are going to say the centripetal force like this way. It is the force that acts along the radius of a circular path towards the center when a body is going to have the uniform circular motion. And here we can see there is an object which is connected with the help of the thread, and this body is rotated in a circular path. ಈ ಬಾಡಿ ನಾವು ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತೇವೆ, circular path ಅಲ್ಲಿ rotate ಮಾಡ್ತೇವೆ. As it is rotated, there is an acceleration that is going to act towards the center, and this acceleration is nothing but the centripetal acceleration. And that centripetal acceleration is given by the formula, that is v square divided by r. The formula already derive ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೇವೆ. Centripetal acceleration AC ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೇವೆ, that is equals to v square divided by r. If it is you are going to say mass of the object is m, then we can see about the centripetal force. What is this centripetal force now? The centripetal force Fc ಅಥವಾ F ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೇವೆ. That one is equal to mass of the object into acceleration of the object. Acceleration is AC, and hence we can see the centripetal force Fc is equal to mv square divided by r, where r is the radius of the circular path in which the body is going to have the uniform circular motion. Also, AC is equals to omega square into r. ಮತ್ತೊಂದು ಫಾರ್ಮುಲಾ ನಮಗೆ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ, omega square into r, and hence we can also say the equation for this centripetal force as like this way: mass into omega square into r. R is the radius. A different equation for the centripetal acceleration. Omega is the angular frequency. That is about the centripetal force, where we are going to observe this centripetal force. The centripetal force that we are going to see, that is in the different cases. That is when we are going to consider the force that is going to act between the electron and the nucleus. It is in between the nucleus and the electron. That is in the atom. In an atom, we know in an atom there is a centrally placed nucleus, and that electrons are going to revolve, that is in the different orbit, that is in a circular path. and in between that electron and the nucleus, there is some force is going to act, that is nothing but the centripetal force Fc. And this centripetal force is given or it is provided with the help of the electrostatic force. It is provided with the help of the electrostatic force between the electron and the positively charged nucleus. And hence we can say the centripetal force for the movement of the electron in an atom is provided with the help of the electrostatic force between the electron and the nucleus. The other pair where we are going to observe this centripetal force, that is in between the moon or some other satellite, artificial satellite, and Earth. Moon and Earth. We know moon is going to rotate around the Earth, that is in a circular path. And hence you are going to see in between this moon and Earth, there is some force is going to act there. That is nothing but the gravitational force. It is a gravitational force. And hence we can say the gravitational force is going to provide the centripetal force, that is for the movement of the moon around the Earth. Same way, the planets and the sun system. The planets are going to move around the sun. That is in a elliptical path. Once again, for the movement, there is some centripetal force is required. If it is, we are going to imagine the planets are going to move in a circular path with the uniform velocity. What happens there? Once again, we can say a gravitational force that is going to act there. And another case, there is a stone that is tied with the help of the thread, and it is rotated. The stone that is tied with the help of the thread, and it is rotated in a circular path. That is in a circular path. As it is going to rotate, that stone is going to move in a circular path with the uniform velocity, and hence we are going to say there is some centripetal force is going to act there. What is that centripetal force? The centripetal force is provided with the help of the tension. With the help of the tension that along the thread or along the wire which is used for the connection. These are some examples where we are going to observe this centripetal force. And also, when we are going to observe the movement of the vehicles, that is in a curvy route, we are going to see the two-wheelers are going to bend himself, that is towards the center of the circular path. Why he is going to bend? So that he can move around that circular path. That is to get the required centripetal force. That is another example where we are going to observe the centripetal force. The two-wheelers are going to bend towards the center of the circular path so that he can move around the circular path without any skidding. ಯಾವುದೋ skid ಆಗದೆ ಯಾವುದೋ accident ಆಗದೆ, he can move through that circular path or through that curvy region there by bending himself. That is about some of the examples for this centripetal force where we are going to observe. Okay, thank you.